And welcome back to another Ammunition show with the hockey coach, Coach French, directly for Before Country at 10 on an amazing, great what? One amazing, great Sunday night on the July 28th, 2024. Hopefully, an amazing, great start of the week is coming already in front of you. And then this is the end of July. Crazy. Where's 2024? And one is ahead the end of July if you're hockey fans, but you get excited because August now is going to starting to get a little bit more some movement in NHL. And for the Montreal Canadiens, talk about the 20 camp or any other things. We're going to definitely follow up with everything going on around the Montreal Canadiens. That's the result every Sunday night and Wednesday night. We pop up here to talking about your favorite team, the Montreal Canadiens. And we have some news around the NHL. We're going to bring this to you. What you have on the program for August, Coach, but we have a very busy August coming. First of all, we're going to celebrate the 5th anniversary of the channel at the end of the month. And then I'm going to give you every day a video about each team for the upcoming season, what they look like, the roster, what player they add for the upcoming season, who they don't have anymore, what they look like, the prospect. We're going to go deep on each team. And to do that, I have a co-host with me. Sometimes it will be Marco, sometimes it will be Enortap, and sometimes it will be by myself. So the next 32 days start at the beginning of August. So we're going to deliver one team per day about their roster for the upcoming season. Of course, in August, going to add a little bit more show because it's going to get a little bit more busy. So be alert or with a notification to know what is the next show. Talking about the next show, but this week we'll be back at Wednesday night with the Habs Notebook. Pay attention on that show. There will be a fun show this week. First of all, tonight, it's a night of Fix It. We're going to fix the problem on Montreal Canadiens tonight. We need to fix it. And then Wednesday night, guys, we're going to create the roster or the best roster of the Montreal Canadiens 21st century. So we're going to go all the way to 2000 year season for the Montreal Canadiens and to go all the way to 2024. And with that, you have to build your roster of the 23 men players for the Montreal Canadiens. Example, Carey Price, Jose Dodor. Who's going to be the third goaltender for that team? I don't know. So we're going to go through this. We're going to add 8 defensemen. I'm going to add maybe 14 forward. We're still not sure if we're going to put a player like all the prospect like Demidov on that because they never play in NHL yet. But I'm going to make some rules. But Wednesday night is going to be a show to build the roster of the 21st century for the Montreal Canadiens. So stay tuned. I think it will be a fun show together. Keep continuing to send us some mailbag. Any question about NHL, Montreal Canadiens, or the NHL Prospect 2025? I'm already working on that. Those prospect is coming for the next year. You send an email to Ask Coach Frenchy at gmail.com. We're going to reply to you live or we're going to do a recording video about your mailbag the next couple of weeks. So send it. We already have a couple already sent it to us. So we're going to give you some answer very soon. Finally, we're getting a little bit more subscriber. We crossed the 8,159. Look like we're a little bit more now. But slowly, populate, we try to get the 9,000. Is it possible for the beginning season? I'm not sure about that, but we'll see if it's possible to get this. So that's what we got you guys tonight on this show. Now, I have we have a co-host. Every Sunday night we have Enortap, and the Wednesday night we have Marco. And sometimes Enortap join us. And sometimes Sunday, Marco join us. But tonight, I came to the green room. And Mr. Enortap was there. So I'm not sure he's still there because we have some kind of internet problem. I don't know if this was coming from Toronto. But we'll see if he's in the house tonight. So let's further ado. Let's see he's there from Toronto tonight. We call him the legend. We call him the greatness. And I'm talking about who? But I'm talking about Mr. Enortap. He is in the house tonight.
I'm here, Coach. I'm here. Always great to be together on a Sunday discussing the Habs with our Hockey Nation family.
Yeah, that's great to see you again. Hopefully, an amazing, great weekend in Toronto and your family, a friend. But I have a lot of people in the chat, Mr. Enortap. Before we start to welcome everybody, we're going to say what is the subject of tonight, if you don't mind, Mr. Enortap. And we have only one. It's a big one. Mr. Enortap, you're going to fix it. So, can he fix it? Can use the app problem? Do we have problem on Canadiens? Maybe not big problem. But we have something he need to fix around the Montreal Canadiens. So I'm going to give you approximately 7, 8 minor problems on top of the Montreal Canadiens. I'm going to give us your comments about each one of them. And then we're going to go a little bit more deep. So the Montreal Canadiens have a big pipeline. So I give you my pyramid of 45 prospects the Montreal Canadiens get. And then I'm going to give you the roster pipeline under 25 years old for the Montreal Canadiens, forward, defenseman, and the goaltender. So a lot of stuff in front of us for the next 90 minutes. Hopefully, we're going to go through this all properly the right way and to finish at the right time. We have a lot of people in the chat. We're going to flip this very well. And this is the place to be every Sunday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We talk about your Montreal Canadiens. So let's start with Mr. Enortap. All the way, Joe Pallotta is in the house tonight. Talk about Patrick Laine will be a great player to join the Montreal Canadiens. Roy from Bangkok is in the house. RDP, he is right now on the gym, make some lift at the Newfoundland, and hopefully doing well. Gary Conway, the best driver UPS around the world, is in the house tonight. Randy Walkman, Strick from Alberta, is in the house tonight. And Randy, look about Calgary Flame. I don't know. The leave, I don't know. So you have a lot of things to take care about, Mr. Enortap, Randy, for the upcoming season. Following by, of course, Patrick LeWhite, the man of the money man. And tonight he talk about Connie Ligis to beat Bulgarian Olga Brut and shot put pat competition for 100 times. What is that, Mr. Enortap?
He's referring to the Olympics, I believe.
The Olympic is top, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They already had, we got a couple medals for Canada already, a silver and a bronze. Awesome. So that's a good start. We saw the Thailand team, too. They showed up. They have some athletes, yes. They look good. We'll see.
Did not watch any seconds. I don't know the ceremony. I did not watch anything, Mr. Enortap. Focus on the hockey.
I wanted to see Celine Dion, I got to admit. After that,
I heard a lot of things going on about that, but I did not know exactly what's going on. I know I read, a couple of headlines left and right, but I'm not an Olympic guy. I'm sorry about that. Pierre de Coubertin is not impressed me. But we'll see. Roger Delaney, Mr. Enortap, the man of the men. Mr. Roger, hopefully doing well. And you have an amazing, great weekend with your friends and your family. The Sharks on Nashville. Brimstone is in the house, Mr. Enortap. We cannot go nowhere without Roger. And we have Mr. Marco Larrabee knock the door to click a like. Mr. Marco, hopefully you have an amazing, great weekend with your wife. And you make it the dog better and stronger and happier to put him out of the house at some point. How's it going to blow the scoreboard with all update? Already talk about the news about NHL. Thanks so much. Are you going to talk about that situation in the next couple of minutes? And then we have RDP, Marco, Patrick, House the Dragon, Chinese food. I was on the play. Oh, he was on the buffet. Patrick, about that one over there. I did not go to the Mandarin, I believe it is. But we'll see. Roger Bush-Bouchard, Mr. Enortap, the men leave one leg in the Massachusetts state and one leg on the Vermont, depend which one he's going to get. If he go in the kitchen, he's on Vermont. If he go in the living room, he's in Massachusetts. So that's borderline at the end of the day, Mr. Roger. And finally, Mr. Enortap, where the family is growing because we got Bob the uncle is in the house tonight. Bob's is in the house. We cannot make a show without Bob's. We miss him. I know it's summer, Mr. Enortap. Everybody's busy. By the way, we want to celebrate Mr. Leon Renault. Very busy with fishing and at the north. And I'm meant to talk to him live, not live, but on the video, Mr. Enortap. So just say hello to Mr. Leon Renault. We have Jerry Willett. Is still, with his family in the North Ontario. So we wish the best for Jerry and his family. And finally, we miss William. William is still play hockey the Sunday night, so he's not there every Sunday night. But hopefully, William is doing well, and hopefully see you very soon. William still on the changing his oil for his snowmobile for the upcoming season, and 2025. Mr. Enortap is ready to rock and roll. The snow somewhere around Canada, the country. I think he went to the trip in West Canadian. Maybe he's back now a long time ago, but we'll see. What's going on. So, people, we know who they are, but we miss them during summertime. It's not that. Just remind them. We did not forget about them for sure, Mr. Tap. Martin Mesnit, de retour avec nous ce soir. Martin, hopefully doing well. From where? From Waterloo, Mr. Martin. And glad to see you around about this one. And then, who is putting pressure on Roger fans? Patrick. And he talked about this. Use fans some pressure on him to improve the team and more move the trash about that one. And then we'll see what we got here. The people come back left and right. The fans have something to say. Marco and Hughes need to make a progress this season. Over the last 2 seasons, the word is patient of Wesley Butcher about that one. Celine make a huge comeback. Yes, about that. I agree with you about this. Absolutely. I did not see you. I just said, Alex back in the house. I will forget his last name. But hopefully, Alex, you're doing well. Glad to see you. I talked earlier about August, Mr. Tap. I didn't mention we have a couple of co-hosts going to join us. Gregory will be back. Frank will be back during the month of August. Michael Devillano tried to be a 1 week show per week with Michael Devillano. Maybe back for the upcoming season. We try to fix this.
That'd be great.
So it'll be interesting. We'll have at least 1 show per week, guys, about the NHL this year with Michael Devillano and Randy Walkman at some point. So hopefully they'll be ready for that one. Claude Richard, the captain d'Ottawa in the house tonight. I flip everybody very quickly. Mr. Rudolph, Mr. Enortap, we talk about Rudolph from Tokyo, Rudolph from Colombia. And Rudolph is somewhere else, Mr. Enortap. Can you remember the last country is Ecuador? I don't know. He's somewhere in the South America. And when you go there, Mr. Enortap, you have to bring your pill because you can get some kind of problem, stomach, everything. But Rudolph, hopefully you're doing well. Glad to see you around. And he said the Olympic opening ceremony had a lot of men dressed. Well, I heard something about he was on the boat or something like that. But
that's the athletes. They were all transported and introduced.
But I think it would be great. Thailand should do this, Mr. We have at Bangkok, we have a long way river. You can go over there. And everything could happen in Bangkok, Mr. Tap, but that's another story for another time about
Lady
this one.
Friends.
Definitely. Robert Allen, Mr. Tap, is back in the house. Robert, hopefully doing well. Glad to see you around. Was here for Céline Dion. And Rudolph, there was 5 minutes during the Wolves. I heard it was very long term about the update, but let's see. Need an update. It's been a summer thing here in Waterloo, Robert, about that one. And hopefully doing well, Robert, and everybody in that chat. So let's start in, Mr. Enortap. We have a couple of news. Well, we have a couple of news. We have one big news. It's coming out for the same team, Mr. Enortap. This is happening the last couple of days. First of all, they hired Dane Nevison, but they signed today Marchenko and my favorite prospect in Montreal. I always try to get him, not Wyatt, but Ken Johnson, a draft a 5th overall pick a couple years ago. We have a really difficult year last year under Pascal Vincent. Injury involved with that part of there. It was his sophomore, I believe, on NHL. And then Marchenko have a great year. Get, I think, $3.7 million per year or 8. And then Johnson is below at $2 million. But Dane Nevinson, so give us a bit more what's going on with the Columbus Blue Jackets hire Dan Wendell as the DJ. We know they make a lot of drama decision last year. They fired the GM and then they fired Mike Babcock. They put Pascal Vincent the last couple of days before the season start, and Vincent it was removed at the end of the season with the new management. We know the president still John Davidson. It will be like what 96 years old, maybe John Davidson.
No, maybe not that old.
Davidson was the goaltender of the New York Rangers.
Rangers,
if you remember,
yes,
one of them.
Absolutely.
And but this guy been with them. By the way, before you start, Mr. Enortap, kind of business jacket. When you talk about the athletic make a kind of value of the salary cap with the age and the performance, and they give them a grade about that. So if you have a contract at $6 million and you are 26 years old and you do well, but the value of your contract is maybe at $8 million, so they give you an upgrade. So the team pay lowest at what you should pay. And the Columbus Blue Jackets, Mr. Enortap, is the worst team with the bad contract for the performance of the player. Like, example, Stevenson, Robinson, and then, Patrick Laine with $8 million did not play. Goodrow did not score many goals. So I can go away. So the Columbus Blue Jackets, Mr. Enortap, is really on the wrong side about that. So they get 2 contracts at those low money. I think that's a good situation. So give us a little bit an idea what's going on with the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Well, it's not surprising, Coach. I mean, the first order of business, I guess, with them was to finalize the signing of Evason, and once that was done, they're taking care of business as you would expect, right? They locked up Marchenko and Johnson, and I agree with you. Johnson was always a guy to keep an eye on in terms of possibility of being available if Montreal could get their hands on him in some kind of trade. But it's not surprising that they kept him, and we'll see how things go. But at least they're off to the right foot this year, unlike last year, in terms of all the commotion that happened around the coaching, and we'll see if they can improve on it. I mean, I think the verdict is still out. I'm not totally sold on the Blue Jackets just yet. They've made a couple of good pickups in terms of draft picks, but I'm not convinced yet that they have the right combination. It's gonna take time, and I expect them to be. Personally, I expect them to be below Montreal by the end of the season.
Yeah, it's the only reason I'm not going there, Mr. Enortap. The Athletics division is stronger to the Metropolitan division, and I think the Metropolitan division is the division become a little bit more worse compared to other divisions. I think the Atlantic gets stronger with the Buffalo, with Detroit, Ottawa, and and Montreal Canadiens also, following by the top 4. I think the Central division is getting better with Utah. They get a lot of team, a lot of players. Nashville get better. I think, in my opinion, and I feel like the Pacific understand San Jose not going to make it, but to add Toffoli example over there, and the Celebrity Smith, and I think that division is on top. I think the King is going the worst thing. So I think the Metropolitan is going to be more easier to make more points. You think about, I believe, in my opinion, the Rangers are the Rangers, but maybe not the same quality players they have. We see what happened with Trouba. Carolina, with the departure they got, I think you're not going to get the same quality hockey performance. Then you have the Islanders, will be the same thing. The Devils going to do a little bit better, in my opinion. But you look about Pittsburgh, Washington will be not better. I think it will be same or less. And then Flyers, I don't think so will be better. I think they will be a same or less. If you put this all together, I think Columbus have a little bit more point Montreal. But it's a team, both of them is going to be battle for 80 to 85 points on tap at the end. Columbus, for me, is more about the goaltender. And that will be where they're going to see the difference between the Columbus great year, good year, or bad year. Is a performance of the mistaken between the pipe. Now, we know that Tarasov, the goaltender backup number 2, is getting better. But again, still, we'll see for me to see what's happening with Caden Lindstrom. For be interesting. I think they would return him in the WHL. But, now they are the Monahan inside of behind Fantilli. So you have Fantilli, Monahan. Can he keep Langstrom around Monahan to learning? They still have a couple of players like Sillinger. They still, the young players are still good. Marchenko is there. Laney will be interesting what he get in return. And they have the core, the defensemen, Provorov, and of course, the defense they have over there. Werenski, here we go. That was talking about.
Werenski, yeah, if he could stay healthy, that's a big if.
Exactly. About that, I just pop up what we got in the chat. Tony DeMarc is in the house tonight. Welcome back. Stéphane Richer was a very good slug in days ab summer bell tourney. He will smash it often. Yeah, Stéphane Richer was one of them. But regular weight was the best one. Here goes Mr. We don't waste time. We're jumping right away for the next hour talking about the Montreal Canadiens. And the first one, it's about fix it, Mr. Tap. Tonight, we fix it. Whatever you have, any tool, Mr. Tap, get your armor, the screwdriver, whatever you have, Mr. Tap. We go to fix the Montreal Canadiens tonight. We're going to try it. We'll see what happens. But the first one is RHP. The RHP situation, very sad news. During the week, we heard that he's going to be out for a minimum of 4 weeks after he broken his leg. And the injury is getting to be the same. You know what I mean? Like he got 2 injuries last year. He played at not the same level he was expected for the many fans and for himself. He was looking to play to be a great upcoming year for him as a guy battled for the spot in the NHL to keep his spot with the Montreal Canadiens on the transitions during the time they're rebuilding to become a better team. But that opened a door, Mr. Tap, to RHP.
Yeah.
We talk about a 4-line players, an extra forward, and I'm not going to involve Mr. Tap, Joshua Roy on that equation yet. And we're not going to put Michael Pesada on that equation. I think both of them will be a part of the roster. But which other prospect or player you could thinking he could take that extra spot? And Montreal go with 14 forward, 7 defensemen, and 2 goaltender, or ever it go at 13. They keep right now 12 with Pesada and Roy in the lineup. So which one do you think it could be join the Montreal Canadiens for upcoming season? Take the spot of RHP at least for a couple of weeks at the beginning.
Well, the obvious name that comes to mind is an Owen Beck. He finished off a great season last year, had an excellent playoff. If he comes in and has a solid training camp, I think that he's going to sort of push the envelope to make the team. The other person I would say is Heineman. He's been up and down over the last year 2 or 3 times. Was hit with some injuries along the way, and that sort of slowed him down. It's really unfortunate that this has happened to RHP, because when you stop to think about it, this, in my eyes, I think this was his last opportunity to really stick with the team. And so he had to show that he was going to have not only a great training camp, but he was going to actually crack the lineup, be a solid, I'd say, 4th line player at this point. Could have even been on the 3rd line, depending on how you use them on the wing. And it was his opportunity to sort of, bring value to his own stock and help Montreal in the process. Now, having said that, he's out 4 months. I mean, he could come back, but I mean, a broken leg is not something that you come back from quickly. It could present some problems. And then, of course, it's not like he had a guaranteed spot, Coach, either. So, even if he comes back in 4 months, let's say late December, early January, I don't think he fits into he's going to have a rehab with Laval probably. So it might take you to some time in late January. So it'll be interesting to see. The 2 big names that come to mind for me are Heineman and Owen Beck, I think.
Yeah. I'm quite surprised, everybody. I go with Emil Henneman, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like, like we lost JC Allen, by the way. That would be a great opportunity for him to stay in the lineup for the upcoming year. But I think, For me, Montreal Canadiens are going because I think A2 talk about JK in the chat. Someone put under the name. I feel like Montreal Canadiens are going to starting the at least someone have an amazing, great main camp, right? But if it's just a camp where everybody do well, I think it's going to be a little bit more. They give a chance to Emil and Emin, a little bit more experience as the players in the NHL. He 23 years old now, and I think they will give him a little bit an opportunity to see what he look like. He's a big winger, by the way, so that will helping the side of that is a 6'2", and compared to maybe a Farrell or a Really Kidney or a Nolan Beck. I think Beck, Jekai, all those players coming from the junior or USHL or NCAA, they should start in Laval Rocket Enortap. Go get your 35 game, 50 game, play a ton of minutes over there. And I think it would be better for them on the development and on the improvement. And we are now at the year number 3 of the rebuilding, whatever you want to call it, the number, Mr. Enortap, where everything changed. 3 years ago, when they started the season, Mr. Enortap, we have 2 injuries at the defenseman, David Savard, Mike Madison, and there's someone else, Chris Whiteman, that's another one, if I can recall it. Maybe I missed one, but I think it was 3 of them, and at the beginning of October. So what happened, Montreal Canadiens fill up with the Jekai, the Caden Guhle behind, the Jordan Harris. They took their spot, not by the main camp, but because they don't have, and they pick up Kovacevic. No, it's not the same game anymore. Those players they have a regular job in NHL, and to get a spot in the Montreal Canadiens, it's not easy anymore. And they have an opportunity now, the Montreal, to be patient with the young prospect pipeline for the Montreal Canadiens. So you know what? Go get the Laval, go get your game, go get your TOI, become a little bit what you need to learn to become a hockey professional. And I think that's the way now. It is a Montreal Canadiens. So for me, I think that we get that more like an experienced players, a little bit like Emin and Emin was already did not play like many years in NHL, but compare any other prospect. Now they still have a chance maybe to add a UFA players, but I don't see that would be that direction. I think they go from the internal, on the intern of the team. So I expect a player like Eneman could be a part of the Montreal Canadiens. Or they maybe like you said, maybe try to get at the beginning an Owen Beck or something for a couple of games, see what they look like. But because Beck is a center, because Harvey Pinard is a winger, I think going to target him more as a winger for the spot or HP. Tony Legaré is in the house tonight. Welcome back.
Welcome, Tony.
Hopefully in the world. Darrell is in the house. Welcome back also. A lot of people. Steve G, Mr. Enortap. Steve G for Colorado. Hopefully an amazing, great weekend. We miss Willie Snyder, by the way, for that one. Without Gary talk about Army, I'm going to talk about this in the next couple of minutes. Larry Lavallee, Mr. Enortap, is in the house tonight. Larry Lavallee is in the house, Mr. Enortap. About that, let's go to the fix number 2, Mr. Enortap. Let's both have another old fix it.
I don't know if you fixed it, but
Demidov, Mr. Enortap. Demidov update.
Yes,
we already bit a couple of days, Mr. Demidov. It was at training camp. It's only a week now. The last couple of days is at the training camp. I didn't have any updates on the weekend, so I apologize. I just get what I got. He was at the off ice at the gym, and he was doing all the exercise about this. But I didn't have Mr. Enortap any updates. I don't know if you know if he's right now on the ice or not. But Demidov, Mr. Enortap, fix it. So when you fix it, Mr. Enortap? But we heard the fact that the SKA want to keep Demidov, and they expect a lot of great things about him for the upcoming season, the lineup. And we expect Montreal Canadiens make a kind of plan, working with the SKA, with the head coach. All this together, they feel great about that. But we're still missing a forward, Mr. Enortap, on the top 9 for the Montreal Canadiens, I believe. And we expect it will be better for Demidov, I believe, to start the season in the Montreal area compared to over there. So what do you think about that? So can you fix that problem with Demidov? And what your projection about Demidov upcoming season? SKA, Montreal, or Laval?
Well, from all indications and what we heard, it looks like he's going to do the 1 year in SKA and then be up here next year. But again, it was great that we heard what developmental process they want to take with him and how they'll be in conjunction with what the Montreal Canadiens expect in terms of that development. Pretty much they also kind of guaranteed that they're not going to cut his ice time. But you take it with a grain of salt. You don't know really how this will filter out in the long run. So they have to keep a close eye on it. I think that was more for, the optics of everything to say the right things at the right time. The important thing is that he gets the ice time, he gets the play, with some good players so that his development continues and that there's a lot of communication going back and forth. Now, if at some point, their season I believe only has 45 games, but don't quote me on that. It's somewhere in that neighborhood. So at some point he could come over to North America and that would, give him the opportunity to play some games at a later date. And that position would be made even more so available as you get closer to the trade deadline time as well. So I anticipate he'll be here before the end of the season, but he'll start off there and we'll go from there.
Great point about that. That's just a constituent again, Mr. Enortap. A couple of information in the chat. Hey, GF.
Welcome, JFed.
Mr. Enortap. We have
yes, sir.
UPS driver. Now do we have a driver at FedEx?
I don't know. Gary, what do you think?
GF Ed. Well, maybe it's GF Ed for something, Mr. Enortap, but GF. Welcome in the house. Welcome inside the family. Hopefully doing well about that. We want to welcome back, maybe not, but he may be listening, Mr. Peter Poissonneau, Mr. Enortap. We miss Peter. Peter, we just try to recall some people we don't see during the summer, Mr. Enortap. So Peter is on the one. Hopefully doing well. Peter. Dan Hashem. Hopefully we'll see Dan tonight with Colette, that beautiful Colette, about that one. So A2, you nailed it about this. We have Mark Neil. Welcome in the house. Hopefully doing well. Everyone super excited for Demidov. Gonna have another tough year, but another top 10 pick. Bad luck, but I tried to think it was done anyway. And the season, Neil Mack. I'm sorry about that. I see Mark. I apologize. Neil, you nailed it about those information. Demidov. Welcome in the Hockey Nation. Hopefully you're going to subscribe. And then we have GF. Again, great comments about this. Welcome in the house. I don't need a Demidov with a bunch of the bad contract around. Google.com, Mr. Enortap. We talk about Mr. Google. Welcome back. I talk about, remember the triple W, and also we want to say King of Gamer. Hopefully doing well, Mr. Game Gamer. Hopefully on the right side of the gates, not on the other side of the gate, but there's a story for that time. About that one. President Demidov is on Montreal in April play and the playoff.
That's a bold prediction.
He's just not fixed the problem, Mr. Enortap. He's just fixed the pipeline, Mr. Enortap, of the Montreal Canadiens with that prediction about this one. What's happening next? Fix up, Mr. Enortap. Here's the second line. We talk about, the RHP, now the second line. We talk about Demidov, maybe an option, but who will be the third? We call him the third now because we know they have New Hook and Kulbidak and on the second line for the prediction. But what will be your third? Couple of players we can mention. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. But now, Joshua Roy, Joan Armia, Brendan Gallagher, Josh Anderson, Mr. Enortap, or of course Demidov, but we're going to put Demidov out of that equation, or any other winger, Mr. Enortap. Could be a UFA,
right.
Or it could be a trade for. So give us what you see, how you going to fix it, and what would be your nomination on your beginning of season. This is a subject we're going to talk a little bit more to weeks about the second line, Mr. Enortap, and we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're not going to touch that first line, not just yet with Caulfield, Suzuki, and Slafkovsky. I mean, they put together they had some great chemistry last year, and then eventually Slafkovsky had a fantastic, 3/5 of the final tail end of the year, and you saw that his ceiling is still not reached. So leave those guys together. Obviously, in terms of the second line, I mean, a lot of it is going to be contingent on what happens in terms of whether they're going to pick up a top six forward. I still don't think it's out of the cards. I know as days go by, it seems a little bit more unrealistic that it'll happen. But I think if the right deal comes along at the right price, I can see it happening. Now, again, I'm not saying yes to any particular trade or pickup that's there. Like, we talked about the obvious, and the one that's come up most often lately has been the Laney situation. And that seems to be an option. A lot of people have him sort of slated as Montreal having the right pieces to offer at this point right now, and they're not looking necessarily for players that are currently on the roster, but some help on defense in terms of prospect or draft picks would do the trick. So that's always a possibility. I mean, today and yesterday, I also heard the possibility that maybe somebody like a JVR might be a viable option. I don't particularly think I believe he's 36 now, that necessarily will fit the bill. But if you did it for 1 year, and I don't think he would cost you more than, just over $1 million, maybe, if that. And you want a bit of experience with the youth. I mean, that's a possibility, and he's solid, especially on the power play. So that's an option. But more than likely, I think the way it starts off is probably Doc at center, and you have Joshua Roy and Alex Newhook on the wings. Now, again, I'm not a big proponent right now where he is in his development as Newhook as a second line. I think right now he's better suited as a third line in my eyes, but I mean, you got to give him the opportunity to show otherwise, and you can always flip flop between Doc and Newhook if you had to at the center position, even though obviously you want the size down the middle, and that's where Doc fits the bill.
Welcome back, Mr. Keith Grain is in the house. Welcome back, to be with us tonight. Then Pierre Martin also welcome in the house. Gogol is in the house. I would put Sakowski, Korbidak, and Anderson together. That's a huge hard to play against and play them into the Guhle division. Amir have a great year, Mr. Enortap, with Alex Newhook.
Yeah.
If you look about their stat and how many goals how the point they got together, and then New York finished the season strong. 12 points is his last 13 game. This is under the radar because everybody at the end was talking about Lane Hutson, Logan Mailloux, and of course Sakowski. The end of the season, 20 goals, 50 points, and then Hutson 2 games and Mailloux 1 game. But New York pretty strong. I think Alex Newhook carry on that second line for many weeks. Sometimes was Joshua Roy until he got hurt. They bring back Gallagher with him. He got Joel Amir. I think that's the kind of the lineup they're going to get. I would be shocked they split Sakowski on the first line. Some people put this on the chat. The reason why, it was the best line for the Montreal Canadiens at the second half of the season, and they got maybe a top 10 best line in NHL. I would be why they will try to sacrifice Kafilski and then put Sakowski back together. I think that would be more that way. People talk about GVR as an option. I still believe, Mr. Enortap, when you reach the level of 35 years old, 36 years old, 37, or those ages, right, been in the NHL for many years, you're maybe not targeting just to play hockey. You try to play for a team can maybe make the playoff and maybe try to win the Stanley Cup. Or maybe, like I don't say maybe Edmonton going to get GVR, but I think a team like Philadelphia Panthers are a great team. They patch up those old at the last minute at the beginning of the season. They bring back an example OEL they trade last year. They got Eric Stahl the year before that. That would be a destination where GVR at his age could talk anymore as a team like Chicago, Montreal Canadiens, or a rebuilding team. Again, if you don't have no option, that would be maybe the way he will get there. But I expect more a team with a little bit more better team where GVR will take his time. You have no rush anyway, Mr. Tap. He's been for many years in NHL. You maybe wait until the beginning of the season to see what he's going to join his new team in NHL. But this is a kind of player. Now, particularly, I think will be a good option for Kent Hughes. He can fix it very quickly, better. For the Montreal, some fans are a little bit on the red flag with Patrick Laine. I would say to you, if they get a low cost in return and to get him, Columbus retains some money and Montreal benefit of that opposite for 2 years. I think that would be a win-win. Patrick Laine with the Montreal Canadiens helped with recovery, shoulder recovery, and mental great about the game. He's really focusing to come back in NHL, bounce back example whatsoever. He have a couple. He played only 18 games, but he played very well during those games. I think Patrick Laine playing the second line. That will increasing his number of the point with Montreal Canadiens. Not be surprised he scored goal with that part. And under Martin St. Louis, I think it's a good fit. I know what he kind of player he is at the end of the day, but for me, I think a little bit longer for Patrick Laine. If he have a good year, Mr. Tap, he still have one more year with the Montreal Canadiens. So Montreal Canadiens are going to be an option to trade him during summer next year. His values will be increasing, and he can keep him all the way to the trade deadline 2025, 26. And that year, with the Montreal Canadiens have a great year last year, score for me, Patrick Laine, a 30 goal, 35 goal, and a 60 points, 70 points. It's a great year. And he had all the talent to do it. He did it in the past. He can put a puck in the net in many ways. But it's come with some red flag. And is it better to have a player like him for a period of 2 years, or is it better without him? I don't know the right answer, but you want to fix it, Mr. Top, that's another way to get there. If not, on the end turn, I think my player I think they want to give, it would be Joel Armia at the beginning of the season. That's not going to be at least Joshua Roy have an amazing, great training camp. But I think we'll start with Jordan Armia, and then after that, they can move on with Mr. Joshua Roy. If I'm a head coach, Martin St. Louis, people talk about Josh Anderson. I will say for all of you, if I'm the head coach of Montreal Canadiens, I would pass a message to Josh Anderson for the rest of the team. So you don't give at least Anderson an amazing, great training camp. You don't give something on your plate all cooked really well with the season you got last year. Go back at the bottom of your ladder, work hard, prove to us you deserve it. I'm going to put you from the bottom of the lineup to go a little bit higher and higher and higher. It's happening in November, first week of November. Now nothing work with Amir, or anybody else. Go get there, Anderson. But I'm not going to give him any give him awards because rewards for what he accomplished last year. I don't see that would be great for the message for the rest of the team. Now, on the flip side, some people say, "Yeah, you're wrong, coach. You can go prove to the rest of the team if you are he gave back some rewards because he worked hard during summer. He's ready to rock and roll the training camp, anything like that. No, whatever. I would say great. Look, Amir, another one, Mr. Tap, he worked with perseverance last year, right? He called up twice the Laval Rocket. He came back stronger and better. I think that would be better for me to get Joan Amir. And finally, is my point for everybody in the chat. Amir can performing Mr. Tap very well with the second line until the traded line is value increasing at the end. Now, you're not going to get a first-round pick, but at least you get a little bit better. And that would be the way I would see that situation for fix it. The problem with the Montreal Canadiens second line.
Yeah, no, those are all good points, Coach. And I mean, he also had good chemistry with Dvorak when Dvorak came back. Like that's the reason why I didn't jump right ahead to put Armia on the second line, because I thought you want to solidify that third line. You possibly want Armia and Dvorak together. It's interesting. The points you bring up, because I totally agree in terms of Anderson. Unless we see hints of him changing his season around and having a rebound year and again, what does rebound mean? By his standards, you're getting close to 20 goals by the end of the year and, close to that and slightly under in terms of assists. and that would be a very good comeback year for Anderson. But is that second line quality, right? And so, yes, earn your stripes, get to that point if you can do it on a consistent basis. And that's my only worry about that second line, like that winger, and that's why I think they will go the via of a trade or possibly picking up a free agent. Is when you look at Armia and you look at Anderson more so, there wasn't 100% consistency all year long, right? That's why Armia had to go down a couple times, right? And kudos to him because he did it without arguing or disturbing any of the chemistry with the team. He accepted it. He went down there. He did his best and came back up and had, I think, a fantastic end to the season by his standards. So that's why I think maybe a player coming in helps. And what it would also do is you got to believe, unless it's a free agent, if it's a trade, you're going to probably help out the situation at defense, which we'll probably be getting into in a few minutes. But right now, there's quite a jam lock at defense and trying to figure out who your top six will be to start off the season. But yeah, those are all valid points, and it'll depend on whether we trade or not.
Awesome, great point, Mr. Enortap. Glad we're sharing about the season. Born Ab is in the house. Welcome back in the house. Don't forget, guys, to click on the like. If you don't mind, it'd be great. Every Sunday night, every Wednesday night, we are back at 8:30 p.m. talking about what are you favorite team, the Montreal Canadiens. Tonight's all about Fix It. And then don't miss, everybody, Wednesday night. It's a fun night. We did Christmas in July last week, Mr. Enortap, and now this week we're going to do the best roster of the Montreal Canadiens and the 21st century. So we have to go back all the way to 2000 to 2024, and we're going to build the roster of the 23 men, Mr. Enortap, Carey Price, Jose Dodor, those kind of goaltender, Peter Budaj. What about him, by the way, Mr. Enortap? But we will see what they look like. So don't miss that show. I think it will be fun to sharing and all the kind of disagreement in the chat, Mr. Enortap. I always see Patrick Lawhite give me already tell me, no, not that one. I'm looking for that one, but we'll see about that.
That's good. That's good.
No, it's all funny. But we love Mr. Patrick. Here we go. The next, Mr. Enortap. Fix It. We have two RFA, Mr. Enortap. Jekai and Barron. I think there's a time in August to fix the problem, Mr. Enortap. And to fix it, Mr. Enortap, they just wait. Those two players to put some money on the table. But that's how you're going to fix it, Mr. Enortap, is to put an offer contract to them. And you, Mr. Enortap, you're going to be now Kent Hughes. They tell us what it would be the amount of the contract to give them the yes to sign the new extension. And how many years put this together, Mr. Enortap? Here we go.
Well, let's start off with Jekai. I mean, I think the contract is imminent. It'll be coming up. I think more so than anything, it's more a discussion centered around the term of the contract. Are we looking at a bridge here? Because I don't think Montreal right now wants to go longer than, let's say, a 3-year deal. You're probably looking somewhere in the neighborhood of, maybe 2.5 max for Jekai. And I would say 3-year, and that should do the trick. Remember, he also changed his agent over the summer. So maybe the discussions weren't going as well. That could be a reason why he may have changed it, but I'm just guessing at that. There's no real substance to that I know of. So we'll see where that goes, but I definitely anticipate that contract will get done. Barron, I think this gets done too. It'll be at a lesser cost. Again, you don't give up on a defenseman, especially at his age right now. He was part of that Lehkonen trade that was done. So there's always some kind of I don't want to use the word honor, but some kind of pride behind the fact that, hey, you don't want to admit that maybe you made a mistake in that trade. I don't think that they necessarily did. If you look at Barron in terms of his ability to contribute offensively, it's there. It's just right now for him to have the strength and know how to play a little bit more effectively defensively. And I think if that's his focus, like, he doesn't have to really worry about having to contribute offensively as much as he did last year. Because if, when we get to the defense, when we talk about it, you get somebody like Hutson coming into the equation, and Matheson's going to hopefully have a good year again, and Guhle will step up a little bit more offensively. I mean, you're going to get your share of points from those defensemen. So I wouldn't worry about it if his production goes down a bit, but I'd like to see him improve his defensive play a lot more, so that he doesn't get caught a lot of times. I mean, he's got the skating ability that he could carry the puck out himself a lot of times, but he seems hesitant. He doesn't always make the right decisions when he's passing the puck. He doesn't seem to judge exactly when to get involved in the play as much. But I think those are all things that will come with time. And with it, I would anticipate they'll probably offer him a contract that, again, I would go with probably a bridge contract as well, a 3-year, at, maybe, $2 million, thereabouts, maybe a little bit less, because he hasn't quite shown that he can reach that level yet. But definitely, they're very manageable contracts. They have the money for it. It's just they have to really evaluate where they're going to go with their defensive core and anticipate, how they fit into the system going forward.
Yeah, right about that. I would say that for me, it will be Barron 1 year, $1 million. That's all. On my opinion. He's not anymore waiver exempt, so he's going to be there.
Yeah, that's true.
And then, secondly, if you go on the waiver, any team would pick him up. Whatever people think, it's not a big deal. But I think they don't want to lose. On the right side, defenseman, Montreal does not have a lot anymore. They just trade Kovacevic and Mailloux and Rebacker. I believe it's not ready yet, but they are coming very soon. And it's still possible to trade Savard at some point the next couple of months. So losing Savard and Mailloux and Rebacker are at Laval, but you have only Barron as the right defenseman. That's it.
And Mailloux, right? Mailloux will come
but they are going to start a Laval example. So now you have only Barron on the roster. Savard is out for the trade, and now you have to put Guhle on the right side. So for me, I think Barron play, he's not automatically because of that situation, but I think is a little bit what the Montreal doesn't want to lose Barron for nothing at the end of the day. So 1 year contract for $1 million for him, and they go from there. Now they can increase in the money, Mr. Enortap, at 1.4, possibly whatever they put him on the waiver, a team would select Barron. So So I expect $1 million for Barron. You have no leverage anyway. For Jacky, I believe it's going to be a 2 years contract maximum below $2 million. For him. Why? But his injury, Mr. Enortap, his two-shoulder injury, I think will be a problem for the negotiation. And whatever is played, his role, it can maybe go $2 million, but I think it will be, if they go there, they will increase it at 3 years. But that will be my expectation for Jacky. I also look about the contract of Jordan Harris, $1.4 million. The player at that kind of talent-wise, I think that will be 1.5, but because Jacky, what he bring on the table, I would extend to 1.7, but I don't expect too much after that. And then Keith is in the house. Welcome back. And do anyone have nothing better to do about that, Lenny? He is a human being with a feeling. So what it is in the players' assistant program, so it was the prize. I don't hear anything about him. But we talk about him, like I said earlier, about Patrick Lenny. And we wish the best for him. He's ready to rock and roll for the upcoming season. We'll see what he look like. The next name is on the tap, Hutson. Montreal Canadiens at the beginning of the season over the Laval Rocket. And why the reason I said that, fix it, because in the history of the last couple of years in NCAA, Mr. Tap, every defenseman below 6 foot Now, not 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", below 6 foot. So a small size, Mr. Enortap, as a defenseman,
Yeah.
they never start in NHL. They always go on the American Hockey League. The two only defensemen did it in the last couple of years, Mr. Enortap, are Quinn Hughes and are Kel McCarr. And usually, those kind of players like Hutson, below 6 foot, they go to the American Hockey League, couple of games, months, and then they come back, they play in NHL. The situation Montreal Canadiens is a little bit different. So to fix it, Mr. Enortap, for the defenseman side of Montreal Canadiens, what do you think will happen with Lane Hutson? Do you think he's going to be with the Montreal Canadiens or the Laval Rocket at the beginning of the season?
I personally, I mean, unless he comes in and he doesn't have a good training camp, that's a different issue. But given in that small sample set that we saw last year at the end of the year and what he's been doing consistently with his NCAA team, I think the next natural goal and step for him is to be on Montreal. I don't think it really. It really values to have him at the Laval level right now. I think he first of all, he fills in a big hole for Montreal. He's the kind of athlete that I think that from a defensive perspective, they've needed for a long, long time. A puck carrying defenseman who can quarterback the power play and shows a lot of creativity. And those two players that you mentioned fit that bill as well when you were talking about McCarr and so forth. So for me, I would definitely start him unless obviously he has a bad camp and doesn't look very prepared for a season up here. And I just think you got to be careful in terms of how you insulate him. And I think if you put him together maybe with a Savard who's got the experience and the know-how and can will mask any error that he may make initially because it's a learning process for him as well. That really opens things up for Hutson. And I would definitely start him if training camp goes well.
You're absolutely about that. I agree with you about what you think about Lane Hutson now. For me, Lane Hutson is a unicorn player. I know some people don't like when I said unicorn, but my point of view, they don't see a player like him as a small player, only at 5'10" and 160, and the play he play. And I think for me, also, the Montreal Canadiens are on the situation where they can have Hutson and the mix of the top six. Why? Because they have Savard, why they have Madison, and as a two defenseman experience. They have Kaden Cody been in the NHL for a couple of years now. Jordan Harris, the same thing with the Montreal Canadiens. For me, you can put Hutson behind Madison and give more TOI, and then also you can put him on the power play. When Montreal Canadiens never have a great power play in the last 2017, they never crossed. I think for those reasons, with the way Lane Hutson play, I think the Montreal Canadiens are going to start him in Montreal. At least he has a really bad main camp, training camp, and he will just go back down. But I will shock they will not start the season with the Montreal Canadiens. Montreal Canadiens, I believe they need a kind of player like that. And they don't have Demidov, Mr. Enortap. I know it's hockey, it's not a business, but the excitement of the fans to see, that's remind me, Mr. Enortap, like the Piquet Subban, the first time you see Piquet Subban, what he would bring on the excitement for the fans, right? The hope about Subban. Then you get after that, Sakarski, the vibes of Sakarski. Cole Caulfield before that, where he's on the lineup tonight. He's at L2 scratch. I'm going to watching something else. So I think Hudson's going to bring those kind of vibes for the Montreal Canadiens fans. And without Demidov, I think that would be great to see a player like him. Now you watch the game, you're not only watching Sakarski. Now you're going to watch maybe, Hutson. You're watching Caulfield now. And you're going to see Kirby that. And then you're going to see also, what Jacky does. When Jacky is not the lineup, people say, it's not the same anymore. So I think that's the kind of vibe Hutson brings. I understand that's not a skill talented as a hockey player, that you select a player, the best roster because of their skill. But I think that's what brings also Hutson for the Montreal Canadiens fans. So beginning of season with the Montreal Canadiens, and I think slowly, properly is going to be at least he's going to be a quarterback number one for the Montreal Canadiens right away. And that would maybe give a couple of percent for Madison because he's a veteran. So you don't want to hurt him. Maybe not, respect what he bring on the table for the last couple of years. But slowly, properly, Hutson is going to be a part of the power play. I'll be shocked if he's not part of the roster at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and to be totally honest, Coach, I think yes, he will help to transform that power play. But I think when it becomes truly transformed is when you have both Demidov and Hutson on that power play, because between the two of them, they have great hands. They got great creativity, and what that tends to do is it opens up the other players that you have on there. So somebody like a Caulfield or Slavkovsky or Suzuki, depending on what that dynamic will look like at the time. They're going to get all sorts of opportunities, and then they're going to be fed all day long because a lot of the defenders are going to try to take that ice away from Hutson and from Demidov and not allow them to skate at will. And if they do, they're going to get into a lot of trouble, right? And it's going to be very, very. We were talking the other night about that 20% in terms of the power play. I think when those two guys are both on the power play, you're going to see that number definitely be reached.
Yep, sorry about that. And it's funny, Patrick, you talk about, many of you criticize me many times, telling me, let the pick 25, 26, pick Clevo. He will be the same level. I'm doing a breakthrough players right now, 32 of them, and many of them are draft between Enortap 25th to 50. 40, 42, 45, 49. And I'm talking about players they have a great career in NHL. They have a great young prospect. Of course, Thomas Harley, 18 overall pick, Enortap, right? The Cole Perfetti, 10. Anton Lundell, 12. Understand that. We have many players draft guys at the second round, and they perform very well in NHL. I think for me, a pick second round, you cannot give up, and they have a great career in NHL. Hutson was select 62 overall pick, and you never know what he can become in NHL. And I think that's the way I see that for the Montreal Canadiens.
Where was Kucherov picked? He was 58th, second round. So
you never know.
Yeah, exactly.
Fix it or not, Mr. Enortap. I'm talking about the roster for the Montreal Canadiens. I don't know why is there, first of all, about this one there. So I'm going to bring that roster, Mr. Enortap, a little bit higher here. I don't know what is there, but maybe I screw up Guhle. The extension contract of Kenan Guhle, Mr. Enortap. Nobody talk about this a lot, but it's now going to become RFA for upcoming year, so in 2025, right, at the end of the season. And when you become an RFA, you have a role in NHL, Mr. Enortap. The year prior to that, right, or when the year July 1st start, but you RFA kick out. When you RFA kick out for Kenan Guhle for the season 25-26, but you can negotiate any players after the July 1st, the year prior. So now the Montreal Canadiens could give an extension contract to Kenan Guhle. If it's the case, Mr. Enortap, and 1 minute, how much and what would be the longevity of the contract?
Yeah, when it happens, it all happens during the year, and I don't think there's any reason to suspect that it won't happen, right? With Guhle, you have an excellent defender. I would eventually like to see as the year goes on, his position be adjusted and he moves back to his natural side, which is the left side. I think, even though he can play both sides, just like Harris can, they're better suited on their correct sides, which is the left side. And I think that sort of kept him a little bit behind when we talk about his offensive contributions. But defensively, this guy's he's a workhorse. He'll be able to log big times. He's gonna be on the best players of opposing teams. In terms of his contract, I mean, what are we looking at here? I don't personally think they're going to go right out of the gate an 8-year contract. And the only reason I say that is hesitation, a little bit of hesitation in terms of injury, right? I think they want to make sure that everything is, pretty much in the healing process with him, and that he doesn't have any setbacks when it comes to the injuries, and whether we see that increased type of play in this game as well. So I'm probably looking at here the expectation of a 4 to 5 year contract with Guhle, and the amount is, man, it's tough. I'd have to look at the comparables with other defensemen like that, but I mean, you're talking in excess of, I think, 5 to get that done. Probably closer to 6, in that neighborhood. And again, I'm trying to keep the structure of the pay salary in mind in terms of how, I guess, things started off with Suzuki and then Caulfield, and we saw with Slafkovsky and so forth. So I think that's the direction that they might go, and it makes sense that way.
Yeah, I'm sorry about this, about Guhle, Mr. Enortap, but we'll fix it very well. For me, it'll be a bridge contract for him. A little bit, you look about the Vlasic draft pick, contract for the Chicago, 4.7, a 4 years contract, I believe. But for me, I think he would get that kind of contract for the Montreal Canadiens, around 5.5. If he go a little bit longevity, you go 6. But I don't expect more at that, Mr. Enortap, for Ken Guhle at that moment.
And are you thinking 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, 4 years for me.
4 years?
Okay. Yeah. I'd be lower at, the 5, 6, 7, 8 years for the Montreal Canadiens. At least you see something else, Mr. Enortap. I tried to get something else because we have a lot of things to talk about this, Mr. Enortap. I'm going to go that way, guys. You still have about 20 minutes to go, and I don't want to, miss that tonight, because that's the big things about this. Mr. Enortap, before that, I can show to you this one over there. When I talk about fix it, the roster, add or not, Mr. Enortap, we just go through that, the exercise, right? Who's going to be maybe the second line? Demidov, where is going to be? What would be the situation with the defenseman for the Montreal Canadiens? So I don't have to go too much about fix that lineup, because we talk about possible they can get a trade for or a UFA, Mr. Enortap. But I really believe I want to talk about the Montreal Canadiens are at the point right now they have a lot of assets. Next year, they still have about approximately 12 NHL draft pick, Mr. Enortap. 7 of them are going to be on the first round, on the first 3 rounds. Talk about 2 in the first round, 2 in the second round, and 3 on the third round. That gave them 7. If you pick, Mr. Enortap, any player of the top third round, some of them can play in NHL. And we know what's happening. Calgary, Mr. Enortap, will be so bad. Montreal is going to get the pick of Florida Panthers. And Florida Panthers is going to be at the top 5 overall. So Montreal are going to be their selection, top 10, and they're going to Florida Panthers between 28 to 32, in my opinion. So Montreal are a little bit more flexibility, Mr. Enortap, to make some move about this, and the prospect and the picks about this. Said that, some point Kent Hughes cannot keep everybody. It's impossible. The Buffalo Sabres get that direction. It does not work very well. If you look about that, they almost gave away Mathieu Savoie right now. They have Protocol, Quinn, and I can go all the way Benson now, everything like that. So what I did for you, Mr. Enortap, let's see the pyramid of the Montreal Canadiens. Yeah. We have 45 Mr. Enortap prospect already. That's not including when we get next year. Now, I put this on my pyramid, guys. I make a video, I believe, a couple of weeks ago about that. Yes, some player can be on different level about that. But you can see, Mr. Enortap, from the bottom, no chance to make the NHL. I don't see them to make the NHL I'm talking about Pitlick, Similek, Perrault, Burvis. They just got a constant goal defenseman. Verbitzik, a goaltender. Croteau. And you have 3 goaltenders there. Gordon, the recent players. The player, I believe, going to be an NHL. Miller, Simoneau, Harris, Middlestad, Thorpe, Prost, Sobolev, Merrill, Biondi. I apologize, but now I should put Thorpe at the next level. But we'll see what happens. I can go to Women's on tap. All the kind of players, the bubble, American NHL, maybe play a couple of games, maybe play in NHL, but it's my expectation. The NHL average talent for the Montreal Canadiens are Beck, Kapanen, Ekstrom, Mézard, Konchikov. Mézard could flip a little bit lower, but I give him an opportunity for the upcoming year. The NHL player above average talent, Fowler, Edge, Mayu, Roy, Barron. The NHL Knight with high talent, Hutson, Rebecca, and then the elite player we have is Demidov. So that gives you a little bit more what we look like the Ross for the prospect. At some point, Mr. Top, you have only 50 contract. So they cannot keep everybody. I just give you 45 prospect and that one of them. Some of them, they're going to have an offer contract by the Montreal Canadiens. I don't see that a guy like Gordon, Alexander Gordon, draft by the Montreal is going to get any contract. I don't see that for them. But that said, Mr. Tap, that will bring me here, the forward of the Montreal Canadiens under 25 years old. This is what they look like, Mr. Tap. And you have 5 line. That because that's what they can play in the NHL, I believe. And they are not, Mr. Tap, Kapanen is better to Beck is better Kapanen. This is not the point I give to give you a line of the center, a line of winger. You can mix both of them. But what they look like under 25 years old, Mr. Tap, and go around the NHL. We have a really great pool prospect pipeline in the NHL right now. Zuski, Sakaski, Demidov. Caulfield, Michael Edge, and Kirby Dak. It's getting pretty good. New Hook, Owen Beck, and Joshua Roy. If you think about this, Mr. Tap, I just mentioned right now 9 players, top 9. 7 of them are played with the Montreal Canadiens. 2 very close. Demidov is going to be the next one at 8. Michael Edge maybe take him 2 or 3 years. Then could be very soon. Owen Beck, Mr. Tap, and Alex Newhook is already there, and Rouen, like I mentioned. But they have Jekai, Kapanen, and Philippe Mézard. I put Philippe Mézard some. He's, oh my God. Just wait, guys. It's a guy can be, we play his first year professional. We're going to see how he's going to his talent. I don't delete Mézard right away. And then you have Thorpe. Mr. Tap, Jekai 6'4", Thorpe 6'5". This is a wild card, Mr. Tap, Thorpe. We don't talk enough about him. Then we have Kuivo at the bottom and Mézard. I put him Mézard again. I apologize. I should put Talk over there. But I give you another way to see the lineup of the Montreal pipeline. It's not like they still have about that, Mr. Tap. 6, 7, 8 players could join the NHL at some point. Eriksson is another wild card, a rover. Nobody talk about him play his second year on the SHL. And I can then mention more behind that, right? We have a couple of more players, the Farrell, the Kidney, possible they can maybe Davidson can become another wild card for Montreal, and I can go the way like that. But this is look like, Mr. Tap. Problem, Mr. Tap, they cannot keep every one of them.
That's right.
And now they will have to fix this at some point. Maybe one more year. But when I said one more year, Mr. Tap, I'm talking about the upcoming year for all the way to 20 at the trade deadline. You're going to have a little bit more a package deal at some point. Maybe a Philippe Mézard or another players and they draft and they're going to be at the package deal. But what's the point behind that to fix it, Mr. Tap? But they will have to trade some of them. And also, I make a video about this 2 days ago. Josh Anderson case. How we can fix Josh Anderson. He was one of my fix later in the show. The point is on tap, you can fix Josh Anderson if you have a good year. A good year for Josh Anderson, Mr. Tap, is 20 goals and approximately 35 points. This is, he looked like Josh Anderson.
Yeah, that's his capability, yeah.
After the beginning of the season, he's going to stay only 2 years contract with the Montreal Canadiens. He's starting to let a little bit more chance. Montreal Canadiens could make a deal. Get a pick they're getting now for the next year with 12 of them, They have a second round pick, a third round pick they can trade, and they can add a prospect like Philippe Mazar, example, or any other prospect they have, and then they trade with Josh Anderson to a team, example, whatever. I just want to mention names. Now they want never to do that. Someone tell me the last couple of days, you're full to trade Josh Anderson. Always a way to get. Montreal Canadiens got Sean Monahan. I don't say Josh Anderson is Sean Monahan. Sometimes Enortap are stuck with a salary cap. I look around before I'm talking about this tonight. Many teams can play around. The Vegas Golden Knights can put two players on the long-term injury reserve. They'll be fine. The Washington Capitals, another team, they're going to get Backstrom on the long-term injury reserve, and they have another players. They'll be fine. But I feel like they can make at some point the next 12 months, 18 months a trade for Josh Anderson. This is the reason I bring that exercise at the end of the show, because now you look about this and stop. Usually, a winning team Stanley Cup, they have about approximately 3 prospects or 4, maybe 3 in their lineup. Usually, they trade many of them. Now, the Tampa Bay Lightning was an exception. They got Stamkos, Enortap on the first at the top, Edmund, right? And they are lucky to get Kucherov, Point, another late pick, but they got Vasilevsky, a 19 overall pick. So Montreal Canadiens have Sakoski, Caulfield, Demidov, right? The rest coming by trade, Zuski, Doc. But what happening with the rest? At some point, they cannot keep all of them. And no. I'm going to make another video and another conversation live stream next week about who are the franchise players. When I say franchise player, which one you're never going to trade with the Montreal Canadiens at that moment. What one you're going to be is who are they? So I want to ask you about this. What will be the solution for the Montreal Canadiens when you see that one over there? Well, you want to go on the defense? Can we go on the defense to give you another idea of the goalie, Mr. Enortap, for see the pipeline? Then you can try to fix it.
Yeah. Go ahead, because there's a lot to unfold there.
Definitely about that, guys. This is a defenseman for the Montreal Canadiens. Hutson, Rebecca, Guhle, Jacky, Ekstrom, Mailloux, Baron, Strobel, Harris, Kushnikov. We talk about right now, Mr. Enortap, 10 of them. And we don't talk about Madison yet, right? And we don't talk about Braz, Middlestad, and Trudeau. Goaltender, guys, we have Fowler, Montembeault, Primo, Tobesh, Volenkin. 5 goaltenders they have right now, Mr. Enortap. I make a video a couple of days ago where they have 10 of them right now. Of course, Carey Price is one of them, right? And they have other goaltenders like Quindle Miller. I did not put there, and I can add more. Kent Hughes did a great job to fill up the depth of the pipeline. The goaltender situation 2 years ago, Mr. Enortap, was honestly Carey Price, Jake Allen. Then they add Montembeault. They have no clue about Primo. So they filled that hole over there. A couple of years ago, Mr. Enortap, they had no right defenseman. They bring Barron, and they got Rebecca. Before that was the center position. They got Doc and Newhook. Kent Hughes is a fixer, Mr. Enortap. That's the purpose of the show tonight. And now I want to see what you see now, the defenseman, and you see the forward, what the pipeline it look like, and how you go to fix that problem with that. They cannot keep them defensemen, Mr. Enortap. It's impossible.
No, they can't.
And they can't. To become a better team, Mr. Enortap, you have to trade something you like, defense. Something you would be hurt to hear maybe a Mailloux gone, a Jacky gone, or another players and Rebecca, I don't know. But this is going because you think about this, Harris, Mr. Enortap, a Baron, a Strobel, not going to give you a lot in return. If you want to go a trade like the Flutter Jack got a catch-up, you have to trade Huberdeau. And I just not said specific then, but if you want to improve the team, this is the way they have to go at some point. And they have no choice, Mr. Enortap. It could be Joshua Roy, Mr. Enortap. We don't know. But this is how you're going to fix it to become a better. We talk a lot of time, Mr. Enortap, about the roster construction. The roster construction is coming, Mr. Enortap. This is the way you fix it. So I'm done to talk about this. I talked for the last 7 minutes. So, Mr. Enortap, you turn to fix the problem of what you're going to see for the pipeline for the Montreal Canadiens.
Well, the first thing that stands out, like we're talking about, obviously the under 25 depth chart here for Montreal, and it's very encouraging. You see that they've used the 2.5 years, 3 years productively to fill up that pipeline with through the draft, and have the kind of players that will stand a legitimate chance of making the NHL. Now, of course, when we talk about 45 players and more, obviously not all of them are going to make it. So you've 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 created a situation where you have the talent there. It's now an opportunity to start packaging some of these players up and to fill in specific voids that you have on your roster. When you look at, let's start with the goaltenders, right? They had a need, as you mentioned earlier, and so what did they do? They drafted three goalies over the last 2 years. So uh, hopefully they develop, and there's possibility. Like when you look at Fowler, we still have Montebo, Primo, Dobesh, and a lot of good stuff coming out of the camp of Volokin in terms of him possibly making it. But really, what you want there is your one premier goalie and a solid backup. So I'm not worried about that at all. With the defensemen, we talked about it earlier. They're going to have to move one or two of them at some point, whether it's this year or next year. They'll have more flexibility next year and more money to play around with. So that makes sense. But you have, like, it's very encouraging to see, the kind of players that are in the system. And you got to realize also that realistically, you're looking maybe, if you're lucky, 1/3 of them that will have a legitimate chance at the NHL. And I think I'm being very conservative with that number too, and encouraging to the players that are there. But one thing we found out this year, it's more so, like, it's fantastic if you can have two lines with, 4 or 5 superstars on that team, or elite players. We've seen that in the past. There's many teams that have that currently. Did it translate to a Stanley Cup? You can make an argument yes or no against it. Like, you look at Tampa Bay, they had some elite players there. Obviously, they've won. But you look at a team like Florida, and yes, of course, they have a couple of elite players, but it was more about depth, and it was more addressing and making sure that your second, your third, and especially your fourth line, that they're deep and that they can fulfill the roles that they've been assigned, and doing it to the maximum of their ability. So when you're looking at these guys, first of all, in just looking at it, Coach, maybe we can substitute Tuck in there, because you wrote Massar twice on the fourth and the fifth line.
Yeah.
So yeah, we can put Tuck in there. Maybe I would think that's, of the three that are below there, that would be the more appropriate one. And these guys are going to be given a fair shot. Like, next year, and again, these are, I reiterate, they're the ones that are under 25 years of age, right? There's still some key players that are on the current roster that will mend well with these guys, and that are a little bit older, and that's where your experience is going to come from. We're talking about guys like Matheson, and next year Suzuki. I think this year he turns 25, if I'm not mistaken. So he's going to be off this list as of next year. The other thing I noticed right away, and it's a point that I've been trying to make the last couple shows that we've made. If you look at just about almost every line that you have there, you've pretty much stacked yourself with centermen as well. One thing Montreal did in terms of addressing their pipeline, and they didn't have, is that they drafted 4 centers that were 6'1" or above in the last 2 drafts that they've had. And I think that was essential, because that was one area of concern over the past number of years. And so if you look at, say, the first line, or let's start with the second line, because the first line's pretty much set up. But you have either Hage or Doc that can play at center. On the third one, you have Beck or Newhook that can both play center. And those are key, because
Enortap, don't forget. Jacky is a center.
And Jacky, that's right. He was converted last year, halfway during the year,
So
to
you
center.
add
So
a big body 6'4" center
right,
and with Kapanen there. And I think that's another way where maybe at some point, if Jacky, we don't know what it will become, right? It's a long project for Jacky, in my opinion. Uh, it can get your line, Mr. Tap, 5'11",
yeah,
6'4", 6 foot with Beck, and then you have another big body at the bottom. Remind me a lot for me, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but it could become another Roy from the Vegas Golden Knight.
that's
Roy
right.
is a
Yeah,
big body,
it's
6'4". Talent-wise, he have a better career in the QM, Roy. But I think if you think about the role of Roy play with the Vegas Golden Knight as a fourth center, with Kozar, another big body on the right side, and then a guy like Torp could become an old Kozar on the right, and they have another player like William Carrier for many years with them. Now he's with the Canada Hurricane. But still, I think this is another way we forget about Jacky as a center.
yeah, absolutely, and that's why you want to have that like Bergeron once said it. He said you can never have enough centermen, right? And the reason for that is you bring some size. Number one, that's something that they dearly lacked. Number two, not all of them will work out, right? As encouraging as we are when we see the name and the potential that's there, especially some of the ones we have listed there on the third, fourth, and fifth lines. You know that not all of them will make it. So you're giving yourself that flexibility that you're never going to have a real void at center. And for me, that's critical. Being strong up the middle, starting with your goaltender, your defense, and then the centerman. The wingers you can pick up anywhere, anytime, that you have money, or you have excess prospects or picks, which they now have all of that. So if they had to address the wings, they could do that. But it's very encouraging. Like when you look at this, coach, I don't I don't know if I would put it in the category of fix it. It's more how do we develop it so that it becomes complementary with what we have, and I think the direction that we're going to go in, and
Yeah, the
making
fixed
sure that
business tab is about more about okay to
yeah,
increasing your roster and the next 2 years or 3 years
yeah,
for the Montreal game would have, like I said again, A2, someone in the chat said, yeah, but you don't know how they're going to develop, of course. But when you
true,
build an
true.
organization, you have to put all the name, you have to build your depth, your pipeline, and that's not that on this we have here, right? You have to consider the top 10 forward, the top 10 pick of the NHL 2025 from Montreal Canadiens. Now, it may be 12, but I think expect more between 7 or 10 for the Montreal Canadiens are going to select next year. That player is on top, jumping, in my opinion, almost like over Beck, and Kapanen, and Kuivo. It's going to be right away a top 9, maybe a top 6.
Yeah, that's a good
You
point. Yeah,
select a Michael Misa example, Mr. Tap. It's right there at top 6.
yeah.
And
And not only that, coach, but you also have two first round picks this year. Now I know we're saying, okay, maybe one of the first round picks might turn out to be Florida, so that might be 30, 31, 32. Who knows? But there is the outside chance Calgary finishes 11th, and then that pick becomes an 11th, and maybe you finished eighth or ninth from the bottom. So now you got two excellent pieces to work with if you wanted to move up in the draft to get a more solid uh, player that either fulfills the wings position, or you can go with center again if it's available. So, I mean, all the permutations that you have once you've built up this pipeline, and you have those prospects there, and you have the picks at your disposition as well. I mean, it really opens up the door. And think about it. You're also going to be losing some big contracts down the road. By the time these players are ready, that are under 25 to be a permanent fixture with the team, I mean, you will have gotten rid of the contracts that are like Gallagher and Anderson or Mia. Evans will be done. At that point, Savard will be gone as well, and maybe even possibly Matheson. We don't know yet, right? Depending on how things go. So there is a possibility that you can put something together a lot quicker than we think, provided that the development goes the way it should.
Exactly. And, you don't know yet what you look like. Konishkov, example. Can he push?
Exactly.
And I just did a video, guys, a couple of days ago. Again, the same video where the versatility of front defensemen they have transition player, they have a rush player, they have physicality, the toughness behind the goal on the defenseman, and every player plays a specific role in Montreal. Again, guys, we don't know Montreal is going to become a Stanley Cup, but when you look about this, is a great exercise to figure out with the depth. If you look, guys, I just did the 32 team this weekend. Go get the Boston Bruins prospect pipeline. Yes, they are winning the last couple of years. I understand that. But the Pittsburgh Penguins, guys, all right? This is a two-team right now. The Washington Capitals, they try to hang in there. There's a two-team, the Boston-Pittsburgh guys, are the next 3 years are going down. Look the pipeline of Tampa Bay Lightning. It's not there. There's a team the next 3-4 years, guys. Those teams are going to get down. They try to patch up. But at some point, it's a will, right? It's a will. And I think that's where the Montreal Canadiens in a couple of years is going to be a bit good and better. And if they can add a Michael Missa and that would be a solid team. I just want to clarify about Kapanen. People ask, Kapanen would be at the training camp. The agreement between Kapanen camp and the Montreal Canadiens, if he make the team, he's going to stay in Montreal. He does not. He returned to play and to be a part of the new team, Timra, and the SHL, the Sweden Hockey League, is changing. He changed from the Liga to play under Olli Okinen, the ex-NHL players, many years with the Florida Panthers. So this is a situation with Kapanen. People talk maybe to trade to get Roger from the Winnipeg Jet. Mr. Tap, for me, the Winnipeg Jet, we're going to looking more as a players established in NHL. But if they cannot get it, I think Montreal Canadiens have 3 assets for them. First of all, they have the first round pick of the Calgary Flames. They can trade to them. They can add, in my opinion, Jordan Harris to stabilize the third pairing defenseman. And they can also add a Philip Mazar on that trade to get that players. Now, you can thinking about just...
Or Barron.
Yeah, the problem is on that Barron is because they don't have enough right defensemen.
Right. Yeah,
the timing is not there yet. Now, when I said that in the chat...
The only reason I bring that up, the only reason I brought that up was because I know Winnipeg, they would like to reunite the brothers, both Barron brothers, and so I think they hold Barron in higher esteem than they do Harris. So that's the only reason.
Yeah, because it's not an urgency, Mr. Tap, to trade right now with the Winnipeg Jets for that players, right? I think they could wait all the way to the trade deadline and maybe a little bit later. One is going to see the development of Rebacker, to see the development of Mailloux, and now to say, okay, we are good. Cody's become a right defenseman with the Montreal Canadiens, and I think that will fix now they have a little bit more opportunity to trade Barron. And they will maybe know that Konishkov is signed until 25-26. But they will need maybe another right defenseman, maybe on the pipeline to set up that situation. And usually it's Kaden Guhle or Josh Harris. Now, they can sometimes to use trouble behind that. But another wild card between, we all talk about this, and we don't talk about him a lot tonight, and he played on the right defenseman, is Adam Engstrom. This is where you have to be careful about this guy. Engstrom is a solid defenseman. I'm telling you right now, people like Strobel. He's going to be already jumping over Strobel very quickly. And he's a 200-way defenseman. When I said that, he's very good on the offensive side. He's good on the defensive side. And I think, for me, he could become another Adam Larson in a shot. I give you a little bit more higher ceiling, but I think that's how I feel about him. But the good news, he plays on the right side, too. It's not a perfect situation to have two left defensemen on the right side, but during the time of the transition, Mr. Tap, that would be the way I see the Montreal Canadiens, and that would be open up Barron. So Barron will be out of the lineup if they trade him because of the development of Rebacker, Mailloux, and Engstrom. That would be the reason why I feel like the Montreal open up Barron. But this is we talk about fix it, and we talk about pipeline, we talk about asset. They cannot keep all of them. So I feel for me, the first round pick Calgary with an asset they already have on the prospect, put this together, they would targeting a specific players and an NHL. That's what I expect for the Montreal Canadiens. They don't want to add more NHL draft pick. At least they got, and I don't see any player right now. They have a bad contract, and the team going to let it go with a first round pick. Right now, I don't see that. But that would be the Montreal Canadiens suggestion. I think it will happening. And then you're going to have next year, Mr. Enortap, Montreal is going to patch or put 2 NHL draft picks together and go lower. So maybe a 56 with a 78 put together, go back to 48 example.
Yeah, or even higher. Like you could take your 2 firsts and improve your standing that way, depending on where you finish in the standings and where Calgary's going to finish as well. So, yeah, like I said, there's many permutations to what can occur from here on in. And I think the positive thing, yes, they've accumulated the players that will fulfill these roles, but more importantly, right from the beginning, you put the right infrastructure in place, right? Starting with the general managers in Hughes and Gorton, then all the supplementary, like you brought in St. Louis, you brought in the vast coaching staff that they have, and these are all areas that, like they developed a proper environment for the team. And they're learning slowly to work together, and they're working towards winning, which is an environment that you always want to surround your players with. And it's all very promising. Like, to me, it's exciting. Now you can jump on it and say, well, you know what, these guys may not develop. Well, yeah, of course, but you could say that about any NHL prospect and players that are in the depth charts of other teams as well. So, I mean, you do the right things along the way, and hopefully they translate for you in the future. Is it 100% guarantee? No, it isn't. If it were, everybody would be winning the Stanley Cup, because there's a formula book to go by. You know, do A, B, C, D, and E, and then you win the Stanley Cup. But it doesn't always go that way, right? So what they're doing is they're opening up as many options for themselves as possible. I think they've done it through the draft, which was essential, and they'll keep feeding into it. Like, right? They're not going to ignore the draft, obviously. They'll keep feeding into it, but they're going to get rid of some of their bad contracts. They're going to make some trades that are going to hurt, because somebody will lose a favorite player or a prospect that they thought was going to be better than what they may or may not turn out to be. And they're going to pick up free agents because they're clearing up some salary. So they'll address the gaps that are there, because they have put together a solid administration.
Yeah, absolutely about that. I would just add one more thing, a couple of things here. I would say Montreal doesn't want to losing player for nothing. They don't want to give a buyout players. They don't want to give player on the waiver. They're really careful about that. Unfortunately, they gave up Cédric Guindon during the summer. Guindon would become the UFA. It was drafted, I believe, 3rd round pick by the Montreal Canadiens 2 years ago. And that's what I believe. Montreal Canadiens, when I say fix it, Mr. Enortap, they not give away the players. They want to make a package deal. Secondly, Mr. Enortap, when you grow rebuilding team, right? You get a closer, better and better and better. Now you make the playoff, right? With what you have, your core. Now you go to fix. The next fixing, Mr. Enortap, is to get what we don't have. What is missing to become a better team? What we can go the next level. And that's what happening with the Montreal Canadiens at long term. Where they're going to get players who are select, maybe trade Michael Edge, Mr. Enortap, maybe trade the NHL draft first round pick. They select Michael Misa. I just mentioned name right now. They maybe trade at some point Logan Mailloux to make a better team overall, to make them a better chance to win. They have no choice, Mr. Enortap. You're not going to build your team with all the NHL draft. It's go with UFA possible. It goes with the trade for. We did not talk about any UFA yet, Mr. Enortap. But I give you an overview, guys, of what the Montreal Canadiens look like right now. And it's just getting better. The future is bright as a goaltender. Oh, yeah. The future is bright as the defenseman. And the future is bright with the forward. It's still missing piece. It will fix it by the UFA or by the trade for. If it's missing aggressivity, if it's missing forechecker, if they're missing size, if they're missing speed, if it's missing the defensive side, the special team, and they will find a way to get there. And I think this is what Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon are great about this. And of course, they are not perfect, but I think Montreal Canadiens, more assets they have, more talented players they have better way to improve the team on the right way with those kind of the players they have on the NHL draft. And the selection of the NHL draft under Kent Hughes, Pobrave and Lapointe, they're looking good so far. Every single year. You cannot target 100% in the NHL draft. Mr. Enortap is only 10 to 20% of all the pick you pick every year. They're going to make the NHL. If they can play 200 games, this is a great year. Or the fact the top 10 picks, right? The Sakaski or Rebecca, but the rest, you never know. If they can get Owen Beck and Lane Hutson play many games in the NHL, that's a great year of the NHL draft. They miss maybe Mazar. Then the second year, they get Rebecca. That's a great year to get them. And then this year, they select, of course, Demidov. So every year, they get a great additional player inside of the top 9 forward or the top 4 pairing defensemen. And the year with Rebecca, Mr. Enortap, Jacob Fowler could be that. Other players could become another great hockey player for the goaltender for the Montreal Canadiens. So we'll see what happens there, Mr. Enortap. A lot of things talk in the chat. I don't know if you want to add something else or we pass the time like we do all usually.
No, I was just gonna say you're building for sustainability and being a force with every single year. And I think that's why they had to strip it down to the studs. And now they've worked it up to this level. This year will be another one of those years where they're still building a little bit, but you're going to see a drastic change and they're going to be competitive for many years to come. Like we wonder, how is it that Boston did it and other teams you can name, clearly anywhere between 2 handful of teams that have maintained their status for many, many years. That's exactly how they do it. They build for sustainability.
Yeah, absolutely about that over there. A lot of great comments in the chat. Patrick, I think you have too many Ekenen on your body right now for that one over there. But look, it was a great show, Mr. Enortap. I think we did a great sit. But again, guys, don't forget to click on the like if you don't mind. And of course, don't miss Wednesday night, guys. It's going to be, I think it'll be Wednesday night. It'll be fun to hear that. I can't wait to see all this fun conversation about the 21st century best lineup for the Montreal Canadiens, from Carey Price to Jose Theodore to Shane Weber to Piquet Subban and Andrei Markov, example, Match Pacioretty, Thomas Plekanec, Mr. Enortap. Can they make the top 12? What about Kovalev? Another player was a star. So we'll be at front conversation, Mr. Enortap. And Marco, you and me, we're going to have 3 different lineup to show at the fans. Wednesday night will be the next show. And don't forget, every Sunday night and Wednesday night for the new people in the chat, we carry on that show until the end of summer. And then start in September, we have more show for the Montreal Canadiens. And we carry on all the game like live play-by-play for the Montreal Canadiens, the age of the game. And that's what we're going to see coming for the 5th anniversary of the channel, Hockey Nation and the App Nation. So hopefully everybody have a great evening, everyone. A great week. Mr. Enortap, anything you want to add before you move on to the next one? Look, go Habs, go. Mr. Thanks to be with us, by the way, Mr. Look at Kenneth and knock the door from Thailand, Mr. Enortap. Another great neighbor for me and Thailand.
Yeah, we're just looking forward to Wednesday. It's going to be a fun evening. Less pressure, no hot seat. We're going to make it happen and join us on Wednesday. It'll be exciting.
Yeah, absolutely about this, Mr. Enortap. Until then, don't forget, please, because that's who he is. You are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you. This is why he's a co-host of every Sunday night, Mr. Enortap, without knowledge of the Montreal Canadiens, but most about hockey and all the people in the chat. Without you, this channel would be impossible to show up every single night. And that's the reason why I believe the channel is growing the right way with the great quality of the people in the chat talking about you for a team or talking about hockey only because you have passion about the sport. We grow and we are born with some kind of DNA, blue, blanc, rouge. Maybe not, but we'll see what happens about this. Again, Wednesday night we'll be back again for the show. Don't miss the every day we deliver a video from the Montreal Canadiens. Every night, 10 p.m. Pull question of the night, Mr. Enortap. Joshua Roy. He's going to play on the first line, second line, third line, fourth line, or maybe a Laval. That will be the question of the night. And then don't forget, starting in August 1st, we're going to carry on, ladies and gentlemen, all the 32 team. We're going to do a breakdown of each team for the upcoming season. Who is in now, who is out, what they look like, the pipeline we just did for the Montreal. We're going to do the same thing for each team. So, and Marco and Enortap are going to be a co-host of different team during the month of August. And that's what I have for every one of you. Until then, Mr. Enortap, we have to say something. Be well, be ill. Find a way not only dominate your second half, Mr. Enortap. Of what?
Year 2024.
You did it again. An amazing great night, Mr. Enortap. I will see you Wednesday night. Until then, an amazing great week, Mr. Enortap.
Good night, Coach. Good night, Hockey Nation.
Here we go. One more thing. The Hockey Nation Live Show. The Habs Nation want to tell you one more thing. We love you, friends. Have a great night, sweet dream. See you Wednesday night for another Habs Nation. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. It's holidays, by the way, in Thailand, guys. It's a day off for everybody here in Thailand. So that's the reason I was late this morning. I was tired. Cracks, welcome back in the house. Look at Hutson. He's in the house tonight. Don't forget, please, to click on the like. We're missing 2 to reach 60. Oh, here we go. Booyah!